Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a long time coming. We've been talking about it, kicking it around, doing all types of rigmarole, but now we walking. We went from crawling to walking. I'd like to welcome everybody to the first official episode of the Crisp Logic Podcast. I'm your host, Jordan Frost Mitchell, and I'd like to introduce my co-host,
Xavier. Keep it 100 Green, hailing from Columbus, Ohio. What's going on, everybody?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are live and in the building, man. I know a lot of people have been asking about, when we was going to get the podcast up and rolling, and even for some of my followers from my previous run, let's just say that I got tired of wasting energy on social media, going back and forth with the Twitter finger trolls and the whole nine, and I'm sure my boys got the same feeling as well, and I got to give him a big shout out for pushing me to get this going, man. But we were finally arrived, man. We here.
Yeah, you just need that little kick in the ass. That's all you needed. So
basically,
had to provide that.
Basically, no doubt. And when we was talking about it, at the gig the other day on Monday, I know you was like, "Hey man, it's go time," and I was like, I hear you, man, but my energy wasn't there. Like I said, I walked into work super lethargic, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. I know I walked in there, man, just offbeat. I forgot to clock in. You know what I mean? I was just out of it. But you saw as we got closer to today, I was like, nah, this is happening, man. It's time to stop talking hypotheticals, man. Let's put some hustle behind the muscle. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So I had to do it. We here. Kick off with the Crisp Logic Podcast. Excited to be here. It's time to get this cracking and make this a movement. That's the goal.
So that's no doubt, man. That's the plan, man. We about to come with y'all, man. Like stated before, we come in not only just with sports talk, man. We're gonna be tackling music. We're gonna be tackling social, political issues and social issues, man. We gonna talk about a wide range of stuff, man. So I say people from all walks of life, man. You're gonna be able to find something to relate to with this podcast. So I'm super excited. I'm pumped and ready to go. Just a quick little background, as Zay said up front, man, we are from Columbus, Ohio, the 614, the Buckeye State. And I think that's going to get us a nice little segue up into our subject. Obviously, both of us, we are avid football fans, y'all. Me, myself, I'm a born and raised Buckeye, and my man's, he is a fan of TTUN. I'm going to keep it respectful here.
No, put some respect on it. Put some respect on it. Call me by name. We can go by two. You can go Michigan, or you can say Daddy, whichever one you want. We here for it.
Pause. We are here doing all that. Look at that, man. A couple weeks, we couldn't even get to 5 minutes without a pause, man.
No, there ain't no pause. We plant the flag here in Columbus. Yeah. We're going to do it. We're going to keep doing it 4 years in a row. Go blue. Let's go.
That's all right, man. You know what I'm saying? We're going to focus on recent stuff, man. But nonetheless, man, we're going to have plenty of time to get into some banter about Ohio State and Michigan. But what we are going to talk about, shout out to them, being Big Ten champs last year. But however, after the conclusion of this season, we are going to talk about the national championship results from college football. Starting off with this miraculous run by the Buckeyes that they went on, man. Especially coming off of the Michigan loss, man. But I'm going to give it over to you to start off, man. Your thoughts on how that run went with the Buckeyes, man, going into the national championship this year.
So first I will congratulate the Buckeyes. I'm a Michigan man at heart. Amazing blue pump through these veins. But, I'm a realist. And I actually had them pick to win the Natty after they made the college football playoff. I liked their path. Coming off the neutral site, going into a neutral site game potentially with Oregon, I was already looking past Tennessee. I felt they were heavy favorites in that. Going into Oregon, it was a 1-point loss up in Eugene, man. So, you now on a neutral site. I called that ass whooping. I called it. I called it a week in advance. You was a little skeptical, but I told you the minimum 2 scores minimum. But yeah, Jeremiah Smith is Himothy, so he's the best receiver in football. He is the best receiver in football. But yeah, it was a it was an improbable path. It was a great, great, great run. And, you guys can thank Michigan for that because he gave you guys a kick in the ass you needed by taking that loss to us. So, it always going to revert back to Big Blue, baby. But, yeah, great run. Great run. Give it out to the Buckeyes. Give it out to Will Howard, being a transfer.
Mm-hmm.
Quinshon Judkins being a transfer. Jeremiah Smith being all-world, true freshman, 18-year-old kid, He-Man. But yeah, I went on a little bit about it, but yeah, I'm gonna let you get into it and give us your thoughts on it, man, my brother.
Even though I detect the hint of the shade behind that, but you know what? I'm gonna take it, man. And you know what? I'm gonna be 100 about it. As we kind of came to the conclusion of Ohio State definitely needed that wake-up call, man. I mean, there was a lot of vibes going into that Michigan game weekend. I mean, obviously, it didn't go the way that Buckeye fans would have wanted it to go, but in the end result, that definitely woke up a sleeping monster that was kind of sleepwalking through the whole season, if you ask me. I mean, they show flashes of what wound up being the case when they went through the playoffs, but honestly, it's just... If it took a Michigan loss to that bad of a Michigan team, and I'm sure you can be 100 and know that was one of your worst products you guys have put out in the past couple of years, but if it took a loss to that caliber of a team for it to wake up and put on those kind of performances, I'm cool with that. I can live with that. I definitely would have liked to seen us get a W with that, but sometimes you got to learn how to fail before you learn how to succeed, and I think that's really a key piece of the formula for this particular Buckeye team. Again, I was very optimistic that they could go on a run and pick up some momentum, but obviously everything started with how did they respond after that loss in Michigan and how everything went to the Tennessee game, and they kind of set the tone right from the word go, man. I mean, Buckeye Nation was rocking. Shout out to Buckeye Nation for showing up strong in that freezing cold on that particular weekend late in December. They showed up strong. They made a statement against Tennessee, and I knew with what I saw from that product, I was very optimistic that they could take out Oregon. And I'll go on the record from when I said in the loss to Oregon earlier in the season that team was at least 2 to 3 mistakes, not only from beating Oregon, but potentially blowing them out in that game at Autzen. I mean, it really came down to like several mistakes and tough breaks for that Buckeye team. But I think they kind of showed what they should have done back at Autzen earlier in the season in the playoffs. I mean, they like you said, they put belt to ass. I mean, they beat the dog shit out of Oregon. Picking it up, I mean, they really kind of did get tested against Texas. That was a team that was not going away easily, and the true heart of a champion really showed down the stretch of that game. Shout out to Jack Sawyer for a miraculous run he had in the playoffs. Another Columbus native as well for coming up big in that stretch. And then I knew once they got through those 3 teams, it was a foregone conclusion that they were going to beat Notre Dame. I mean, some people were nervous, but I just knew coaching. And if that team played with the same kind of edge, that could have been the outcome. Even when things got tough in the second half, I know, shout out to my local bar here locally, Brewster's. We was doing our thing, watching that. A lot of folks was getting a little nervous and, sweaty palminess. But we took care of business, man, in the moment of truth. And I knew that team was going to find a way to pull that out, man. But I couldn't be happier with the results. And sometimes it ain't how you start, man. It's how you finish. And this team finished one hell of a run this season. No doubt about it, man. It's definitely entertaining football for anybody that pays attention to college football.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And, like I said, shout out to the Buckeyes. They did what they needed to do in the playoffs. Like you said, taking care of Tennessee, taking care of Oregon, and then being in a fight, dog fight with Texas. Mm-hmm. I felt they were heavily – I had them heavily favored. Texas kept it closer than I thought they were. I thought Ohio State was the far superior team going into it. Too many questions with Quinn Ewers, the former Buckeye, the one year Buckeye man that we'll eventually get into that debacle down the line. You know how I feel about that. But yeah, the 1 year Buckeye man and, former roommate of Jake Sawyer. But yeah, shout out to Ohio State, going into the Natty versus Notre Dame. That first drive may have had a lot of people worried. I wasn't too worried about it. they did exactly what they needed to do on that first drive. 9 minutes, was a 16, 17 play drive, and punch Ohio State in the mouth. They tried to take a book out of Michigan's playbook, but they didn't have the dogs in that fight to continue that up for 4 quarters, and that proved in the ensuing drives. Shout out to the best. Also, I'm gonna give a shout out to the best damn safety in football, Caleb Downs.
Man, big shout out to Caleb Downs.
He made some hell of a plays on that first drive. That's not gonna show up on stat sheets. And he really showed why he is the best secondary player in the nation, outside of my guy, Will Johnson. But yeah, best secondary guy in the nation, best safety in the nation. Yeah, but you guys showed up, man. You guys showed up, showed out, balled out. Good play calling down the stretch. You guys got back to, as you can say, Buckeye football. You ran the ball as you needed to at times. Junkins had a big game, eclipsing 100 yards.
Huge game.
Will Howard, was very efficient for you guys, not just in this game, but for the entire playoff run. And shout out to him in regards to that. He showed up. People had questions on whether or not he could be a game changer. I still don't think he's a game changer. He managed the game very well and made the throws that he needed to make when you guys needed him. And that's all you can really ask for out of your fifth-year senior quarterback. He ended up being the guy to proving that he's the quarterback you needed for the run. Even though I'd say you could have done the same thing with your guy Kyle McCord, but we'll table that conversation. But no, he was the guy. He was the answer. Obviously, leading you guys to a national championship. So 17-21 for 231, 2 touchdown passes in the Natty, with a great third down throw to the rookie phenom Jeremiah Smith down the right side. Why you would give that man single coverage, no safety help in that situation, only God knows. And only God knows. And I knew the answer. I knew what it was before they hiked the ball. I knew what the answer was, and I knew it was over. For the sake of my parlay, I'm happy he got tackled. For the sake of my parlay, but I'll take the field goal in that clinching drive.
Yeah.
But the Buckeyes, they exceeded my expectations offensively in the first 2 games. But when you are the best team in the nation, this is what you're supposed to do. And that's what they were from the moment ago. I had them pick in the original game in Eugene. I thought they were the better team then. I always felt that Oregon was a little bit fool's goldish, glitz and glamour, chrome helmets. Oregon is who we thought they were.
No doubt. And
the Buckeyes didn't let their ass off the hook. That's pretty much what it was. So,
they are we thought they were vibes. Denny Green.
Exactly. Sure. Shout out to Denny Green. R.I.P.
One of the best coach of rants ever, man. God rest his soul.
Right. R.I.P. But you guys did exactly what you needed to do. Should have done. Ryan Day can let those rosy cheeks rest peacefully for the next couple of days, and go from there. So, yeah, again, shout out to the Buckeyes, man. They did their thing.
Now, big shout out to the Buckeyes, man. I do want to circle back to Will Howard before we transition to our next subject, man. I knew he was the answer that we needed in the transfer portal. I know a lot of folks were, second guessing letting Kyle McCord walk, or any of that stuff, but I had no doubts in my mind that he was going to. I had no doubts in my mind that Will Howard was going to disappoint. I knew he brought a lot of different things that we just hadn't seen from the quarterback position in a while for Ohio State. Biggest thing being mobility, and mobility at will. No pun intended. But saw a lot of the film when he was at Kansas State, especially during that last run where he was winning some big football games. But the biggest thing, man, he is deceptively athletic for a quarterback of his size, man. And he's a perfect game manager. You don't need a guy to make big plays, even though he made his fair share of big plays for Ohio State. But you just need a guy, man, that can just go out there, keep the chains moving, whether it's through the air or by foot. And he did exactly that, man. I had a lot of confidence in him. I knew Ohio State didn't necessarily need a superstar at the quarterback position because of that talent that they had coming back, especially with the guys that they brought in, like you said, Jeremiah Smith overachieving as a freshman, and Quinshawn Judkins being a big-time help to Travion Henderson in that backfield. And the shout out to the rest of the receiving core, Ibuka, Tate, the rest of those guys coming up big, even the tight ends, G. Scott and the boys. They definitely overachieved down the stretch, man. It was just beautiful to watch them become that true two-headed dual threat team on both sides of the football. Their defense, to their credit, they came on strong, very strong down the season. Even in the Michigan game, they looked very stout. I just felt that was a game where the offense didn't play as much complimentary football as you would have liked. But nonetheless, they erased the doubts, man, and they got the job done in the moment of truth on that championship run, man. But shout out to Will Howard, man, for growing up big this season. I wish him the best of luck in this upcoming draft, and I hope as we transition into football, but hot take from me.
I got a question for you. Just because you mentioned his draft style.
Yeah.
In the draft. Like, where do you see Will NFL terms? I got my opinions, but I just want to see you as a Buckeye fan. I want to see where your thoughts is versus my objective eyes as a Wolverine.
No doubt. I'm going to keep it a bean, man. It's really going to come down to where he gets drafted. You and I have had plenty of conversations as to how some of these NFL teams can ruin a guy depending on what situation he goes into. But if he goes into the right situation, and when I say that, not a situation where he's going to be pressed to become a starter on day one, maybe even come in and go hold a clipboard for a year behind a veteran and figure some things out and see the game at that speed. I think he could be a serviceable quarterback at the NFL level, potentially a starter for a team. Do I think he's a guy that's going to get to an elite level? No, I don't see a Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes-esque, Lamar Jackson-esque ceiling for him. But I've seen what guys that are fundamentally sound can do, like with my favorite team, the 49ers. I saw if you get him in a situation like how San Francisco was able to get a guy with a lot of snaps like Brock Purdy and put them in a good position and be able to develop to some degree, I think he could have a ceiling of a Brock Purdy, potentially. But again, if he lands in the system, I don't think he's a day one product that you could turn the keys over to the franchise to. I do think he's a guy that might need to sit for a year, like Patrick Mahomes. Maybe not necessarily be Mahomes, but I think he could. I think his ceiling is a Brock Purdy type of ceiling, at best.
Okay. Yeah, like I see him as a late round guy. Personally, I know you're mentioning.
My bad. I forgot to. Yeah, my bad. I forgot to say. I definitely see him as a mid rounder. I'm thinking 4 at the earliest, but my bad. You mean to cut you off?
No, you're fine. I think 4 is even a reach for him. Like I don't think he has the strongest arm. Yes, he's accurate with the ball. You can't teach accuracy. He's a great game manager on the college level. I don't think that translates over to the NFL for him personally. I just don't see it. I don't see great anticipation out of his throws. A la like you see the pick versus Michigan. That was a simple timing route that he got off his timing and threw a pick in an area that you cannot throw a pick in. So with Will, I don't see some of the things I've been hearing of people even talking about him sneaking into the first round. I think it's absolute crazy.
I think that's a bit of a reach.
If any GM does that, their prisoner moment deserves to be fired. I don't see any type of surprise out of him like a Bo Nix. Bo Nix, he surprised everybody. He landed in the perfect situation for him, but I don't see a perfect situation for him in the same light as a Bo Nix. And I don't see any coach willing to put their job on the line to draft him in the first round. And I just don't see it. I see a clipboard holder, someone that can be a great student of the game and be in the NFL for 6 to 8 years as a backup, and just coming in spots. I don't see a starter out of him, but that's just what I've seen. I may be wrong, for his sake. I hope he proves me wrong. I
No
just
doubt.
don't see it on the film when I
Hmm.
watch Will.
No doubt. And I think there's definitely some truth to what you're saying. Like I said, I think he's a project quarterback. I definitely don't think he's a guy that can come in and save the franchise immediately. I, I mean, I think if somebody does gamble, you're looking at Daniel Jones 2.0. If somebody does gamble on him that fast, but I think again in the right system, a little bit of patience, learn from some vets. I think he could be groomed into that because the guy's got one hell of a work ethic. You can't doubt that. You can't dispel that. I mean, you just saw how he improved over the course of the season and how he was able to make some plays in the moment of truth, but very critical error, like you said, against Michigan. My Ohio State bias might get me to kind of think that I think the coaches may put him in a bad position with play calling that led to that turnover in particular. But at the end of the day, your job as a quarterback is to make your team better, and you will have to make plays even as a game manager. So definitely not in total disagreement with you, but you definitely got a lot of good valid points. But if it's me and I need a guy that I could potentially groom, if I'm in the process of getting ready to exit from a quarterback, I take a flyer on him in the fourth round. Definitely not a first round product. I think Pat McAfee and the boys might be a little bit off with their ambition with first or second round talent, but I definitely would. I could think I could burn a fourth rounder on him to sleep at night.
I
Sure.
wouldn't, but we're
That's
different
fair.
GMs. You praise, you said it, Brock Purdy. So out there, guys, if you want to be marginal and never actually win the Super Bowl, draft Will Howard. That's the message today.
And if you want to give yourself a realistic chance by surrounding guys and actually having a great, stable culture to build around, I'm talking to you, Pittsburgh Steelers fan base. Might be worth taking a gamble on him as a fourth rounder. You never know. I think he could easily be better than a Mitch Trubisky or a Daniel Jones if there's no round one pressure on him. That's just my take.
Not a better athlete than Daniel, but I think he can be a better NFL quarterback than Daniel. Daniel is who we thought he was. He was a 50% passer at Duke. I don't know what the Giants seen in Daniel Jones. I never understood it. But I digress.
Mhm.
With the talks of the NFL quarterbacks, let's get ready to transition over to the MVP race in the NFL. It seems to be a quarterback league and a quarterback based award, but you know how I feel. I've been saying it all season before the season in the fantasy draft. Saquon. Saquon. Boy.
Nah. If you gonna do that, you got to come across like Gus Johnson on that opening kickoff he took back. Here he goes.
Saquon Barkley.
Saquon Barkley on the sideline.
Yeah. So
Man,
MVP race. In my opinion, I'll give you my breakdown of who I like for MVP and why I like who I like for MVP. I basically said it should be Saquon Barkley, Mr. 2K himself. He came in, set career rushing highs, single game highs, season highs, career high in touchdowns. He is simply amazing behind that offensive line out there in Philly. He should be MVP. However, I don't think he is going to win MVP unless the writers, the voters just want to be haters. Because there also is one other person I feel is deserving of the award, and that is the famous Lamar Jackson, Mr. Jackson.
yes sir.
Mr. Jackson, if you know.
Action Jackson, big trust.
So big trust. Woo woo. Yeah, like his numbers are out of here this year. His touchdown to interception ratio, his running ability, his playmaking ability, his ability to extend plays are just bananas. I think he walks away with his third MVP. I don't. Outside of Saquon, I don't know how you give it to anybody, him or Saquon. 4,000 yards passing, 41 touchdown passes to 4 interceptions. That wasn't a. I didn't missay that. 4 interceptions.
This is for Lamar you're talking about again?
For Lamar, Mr. Lamar. You know, with a QBR of 77.2, second highest in football, behind one person. But you know, that's my bingo talk. But hey, we'll keep the main thing. You know, it's an AFC North thing. So I think he is your MVP because, like I said, you look at the just the passing yards, and then you know, like you said, it's Action Jackson. We're not even talking about rushing. The man ran for 915 yards this year. You know, 85 yards short of his third 1,000-yard season. Yeah, he didn't have as many rushing touchdowns as we're accustomed to him having with only 4. But he's just phenomenal. He was healthy. He played every game this year. That's been a knock on him. Can he stay healthy? Can he do it? You know, is he able to last? You know, he dropped some weight, which is kind of the opposite of what people thought he may have needed to have done, but he got back down to like his college playing weight. He looked faster. He looked more durable this year. Yeah, so I say MVP. It's probably going to be Lamar, even though I would love to see Saquon win it. But I'd like to get your thoughts on who you feel and why you feel that person will be MVP. And yeah.
No doubt. Definitely all facts about Lamar, man. And I've been a big defender of Lamar. I mean, going back to when he was drafted, and, you know, there were some people in very high places at the point in time that felt that, Bill Polian, you know exactly where I'm going with that, made arguably one of the most erratic, irrational, despicable takes about our guy Lamar Jackson. Man said that, and I'm going to preface this statement by saying, go Buckeyes. You know, I'm a Buckeye through and through. This man had the audacity to say that J.T. Barrett was a better quarterback at that point in time than Lamar Jackson. And I like some J.T. Barrett. You know, go Buckeyes. But anybody that knows that J.T. Barrett was not in the same zip code as Lamar Jackson. Are you kidding me? Lamar was putting up numbers with nowhere near as much talent around him while he was at Louisville versus J.T. Barrett. I don't care what you saw on tape as far as the, you know, all the combine stats and all that. Action Jackson is that dude, brother, and period. You know, the fact that you got a legit argument that 4 quarterbacks were taken ahead of him, and those 4 guys were taken in the top 10 in said draft ahead of him, and he fell down to the last pick in the first round of that draft, says all you need to know. Several MVPs later, and we're having a different story. You know what I mean? The only guy that you can even throw in that same breath as him out of that quarterback class is Josh Allen. But I'm going to save my Josh Allen takes for another day. Having said all of that, I'm going to die on the hill. I think my pick for MVP is got to go to Mr. 2000 himself, Saquon Barkley. I feel he deserves it. I felt that he's done everything to deserve that through and through. 2,005 yards to be exact. Could have had a clear chance to break Eric Dickerson's long-standing record for most rushing yards of one season. Bottom line, the proof is in the pudding. You see what this guy did for Philadelphia's offense. He has legit made them a legit 3-level threat as far as not only just being able to produce on the ground, but the guy's a home run hitter, whether he's running the ball, catching the ball. He opens up the field for Jalen Hurts, even kind of max some of the deficiencies in Jalen Hurts' game, and that always bodes well for their big dog, A.J. Brown, and the counterpart, Devontae Smith, and the rest of their skills position. I think Lamar has had that kind of an impact for the Eagles. He is effectively their best player. Coming in, it shows that the Giants were absolutely delusional in paying Daniel Jones versus paying him when it was clearly obvious that their team, their scheme, their offense, their heart and soul surrounded Saquon Barkley in particular. So I don't get how it's not him. I know this is traditionally a quarterback's thing, and they want to do it, but for the love of God, Lamar has several. I don't think Josh Allen has done enough, in my personal opinion, to warrant it. I think it's Saquon Barkley, and if it was up to me, it'd be by a landslide. I just think he's been that much more impactful for the Eagles that the other teams were, and I know the postseason doesn't factor into the equation, but we see who's still in the mix and who ain't in the mix at this point. I think it's got to go to Mr. 2005 himself, Saquon Barkley out of Penn State.
All right, I respect that decision. Like I said, I love to see him win it. Like I said, I was a big proponent of Saquon Barkley going into the season. I was. Like I said, you can attest to that. I told you, fantasy draft, I would draft him as high as 2. And you said I was crazy. You said I was crazy.
Yeah, hold on now. Hold on.
You said I was crazy. There's no
hold
no
on.
Bust around.
Hold on.
No.
Hold on, man.
You said I was crazy. You said I was crazy because he had injury issues. You said I was crazy.
Was I wrong though with the durability concerns
in the past? But we're not talking about the past.
No doubt.
Right? We're talking about the present, and he actually got protection. I knew that protection was going to be perfect for him.
I'll tell you what.
And with the added pressure of A.J. Brown and Smith on the outside, the Slim Reaper himself, you can no longer stack that box the way you would in New York. I seen this coming. I wasn't surprised by 2K at all. I was surprised that he actually did it. I'm not surprised that he did it. I know he's capable of doing it. He's that type of a talent. He's the best running back in football. I think the only person that could threaten that now is King Henry. It's good to see, a 30-plus-year-old running back still doing his thing. But Jahmyr Gibbs is on their heels. I will say that, but we'll table that conversation for another day. Jahmyr is coming, people. But Saquon Barkley is a great option. But let me go back to Josh Allen real quick, because a lot of people out there are screaming and pounding the table for Josh Allen.
No doubt.
Josh Allen, he is a great talent. There's people that will listen to this podcast, and there's people that will listen to this episode, and it's people I went to war with on Facebook comments about Josh Allen, saying that that Buffalo didn't get it wrong with him, that he was going to be all right. And he's been in the MVP talk the last 2 or 3 seasons. He is one of those guys. As of right now, I don't know if he's going to be able to win a Super Bowl ever, just because of how talented the quarterback pool is in the AFC,
especially in that AFC, brother.
Right, and the NFC doesn't even compare. If he gets past the AFC, I think he wins a bowl. I just don't see him getting past the likes of Patty. I don't see him getting past Lamar again. I don't see him getting past Burrow. I don't
get your defense, boy.
I don't even if we would have faced him this year with our terrible defense, I think we make a lot of noise and we shake things up as a Bengal fan. But we'll get to that another episode.
No doubt.
But Josh Allen, 3,700 yards, 28 touchdown passes to 6 interceptions. That is not MVP. When I just gave you to someone that ran for 2,000 yards, the 9th player in NFL history to do it.
Yep.
3,728 touchdown passes is not better than 4,044 to 4 interceptions. It's Lamar or Saquon. I'm picking Lamar. Shout out to my boy Justin. He convinced me. He was pounding on the table for Lamar Jackson, and he's a Steeler fan. And we know ball. He's a Steeler fan. I'm a Bengal fan. He made me see the light on Lamar. Lamar's season is out of question. I don't think you can deny Lamar this year. And I know you said that you think it's not close. I wouldn't go that far. If he does win it, if Saquon does win it, it's going to be a tight race.
No doubt.
But I do fully expect Lamar's name to be called at the NFL honors this upcoming weekend. But yeah, it was a beautiful season for the NFL. But like I said, I think Lamar closes it out at the NFL honors and gets his 3rd MVP.
I'm not arguing against that. Think it's a very live probability, but I think if I had to kind of tone my predictions and hopes for Saquon, I think Lamar's the next pick for me. I just don't think Josh Allen has done quite enough in lieu of what those other 2 guys have done. and especially seeing like what they do for their particular franchises for sure. They're two dynamic weapons that take their teams to next levels. For me, I got to give an edge to Saquon, and for me, number two, I think Lamar will be my second pick if for some reason like it stays the tradition of being like the quarterback piece of it.
Okay. I can get with that. I can get with that.
No
All
doubt.
right.
But speaking of all this Super Bowl or quarterback talk and MVP race, obviously we got the big game coming up this weekend. And here we are again, the Kansas City Chiefs working on history, potential three-peat. Shout out to the Chiefs, man. As much as they make me sick, being a 49ers fan and being on the wrong end of some of those Super Bowl championship deals, they found ways to get better, and I got to give them credit to some degree before I start throwing shade at them out of just pure disdain for all the commercial stuff around them. In light, or more like in spite of their offensive shortcomings, even with the great Patrick Mahomes conducting the show, it's no secret this offense is not quite where it used to be, say of the days back when they were fully loaded with Tyreek Hill and a much younger and more fresh Travis Kelce, overpowering teams. This defense has just been historically good, led by Chris Jones and the boys. That's been the difference maker for the Chiefs. They find a way to get it done on the defensive side of the football, regardless of all the rigmarole. The folks talking about like the refs and the penalties and the league and the agenda. Like, well, it's cool to talk about that stuff, and I know I'm guilty of participating in that stuff from time to time, just out of my, just so we clear, out of my disdain for the Chiefs. You can't deny what their defense does to teams. They get stops when they need it, and bottom line, if a game is close, man, if I'm a betting man, you can't go against Patrick Mahomes down the stretch, man, in a tight game. The guy just simply knows how to go out there and get it done, and the rings definitely show for it. However, I imply Eagles fly in my Super Bowl prediction. I hope that this Cinderella run, or this not even Cinderella run. I hope this revenge tour that Saquon Barkley and the boys are on with Philly, I hope that trumps all that. I'm pulling for this guy. I want him to win this title with the Eagles, as much as the fan base makes me sick. Not worse than the Cowboys fan base, but as much as the Eagles fan base can make me sick on occasion. I want Saquon to do this, man, so he can throw that pie and that egg and that spoiled milk right back in the face of the New York Giants franchise. The fact that they really, again, still decided that Daniel Jones was the guy to pay instead of Saquon, only to demote said quarterback down the fourth string and ship him out for nothing, pretty much. Like it
Not
just
pretty much. They cut him.
They cut him. They cut the man, and basically had him on scout defense at a certain point in time before playing safety. Like, make it make sense. That was the ultimate slap in the face. They cut this guy after all that. I hope Saquon, man, leads these guys to victory. Man, I hope he finds a way to overcome that Chiefs defense of what they're going to throw, and I hope it's an entertaining show with the Super Bowl. But my pick, I'm even going to throw my spread in on there. I got the Eagles winning that game in a dogfight. I'm going to go 31-24 Eagles.
Okay. I like it. I like that a lot. But I'm going to circle back, like you said before. Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes, it's kind of inevitable. The three-peat is on the table. The three-peat opportunity is there. I was listening to Trey Wingo this week, and it's almost like you're crazy to bet against Patrick Mahomes. In situations where quarterbacks need to make a play, a drive to win a ball game in the playoffs, and they need that drive, that statement drive. That drive happens only 42% of the time. The amazing thing about Patrick Mahomes is that he's 7 of 7 in those situations. He's never not been there and met the demand of needing that. And it's kind of hard to bet against that, knowing that information. He's incredible. And, like George said, the offense has not been what it typically has been in the past with the likes of Tyreek, with now with the aging Kelsey. It just hasn't been there. But it doesn't need to be. They actually have a running game now. They have a defense, a top 5 defense, with Coach Spagnuolo proven to be like a defensive genius. If you see the way that he drew up that blitz on that versus the Bills in the AFC Championship. So Patrick doesn't need to be that guy anymore. He's proven to us that you can put the Chiefs on his back and he'll win you a Super Bowl. Now he can rely on that defense. But they're hard to bet against. It's extremely hard to bet against. And then you look at the Eagles. This is, you suffered 2 losses to the hands of Patrick as being a 49er fan. And we saw, was it just 2 years ago, Philly and Kansas City right here in the Super Bowl, where we watched the game, and as much as we just preached about Patrick Mahomes, we watched a man by the name of Jalen Hurts, by way of Texas, be the best man on that field. And fall just short of dethroning that Chiefs team. And just like how Patrick doesn't need to be that guy, Philly doesn't need Hurts to be that guy this year. And I think that's going to weigh in their favor. People are all over him this year and saying that he's not a good quarterback. To me, he is a good quarterback. He is a game manager plus. Before he was a game changer. That's how Philly got there. And people could still say he's a game changer with the way that he's revolutionized the game with the tush push or the brotherly shove, whatever you want to call it.
I like the brotherly shove much better, but the tush push
I like it much better. Tush push just seems kind of pauses, like you should pause it, but it is what it is. But it's there and it's in full effect. It's super effective. They do it better than any other team in the NFL that attempts it. They have it down to an exact science. But like I said, he doesn't need to be that guy. We have A.J. Brown on the outside. They have Devontae Smith on the outside. They have Goddard roaming the middle of the field. They have all the weapons in place with the best offensive line in football going against one of the better defensive lines in football this weekend in Kansas City. But, I said all that. And, you say all that, and you're like, that's enough to win a bowl. That should be enough to win a bowl. But I didn't even get to mention Mr. 2K. Like, they got Mr. 2K. Saquon is going to be the difference maker in the Super Bowl Sunday. He is going to be the guy. As much as I would love to see the 3P for the sake of history, I don't hate the Chiefs. I like watching the Chiefs. I like watching Patrick Mahomes and the referees. I like watching it all. But I am rolling with Philly this weekend.
My God.
Because as much as, I would love to see the 3P, like I said, I want to see a statement win by Philly. And it's not because it's a revenge game.
Yeah.
If Philly wins this, it's going to be because Saquon runs for 125 plus and 1 or 2 scores. And with that, he's going to kill this notion that the running back position is dead. This bowl is for running backs. This bowl is for every kid out there that's wanting to be a running back, letting you know that you still have value. I think this will help get running backs paid in the future. This is very important, in my opinion, that Philly walks away with this. It's a revenge game for the city of Philly. It's a revenge game for the Eagles fan base, and they have everything in place to do it. Because even when they faced them 2 years ago, I think they have a better secondary that's led by Slay and Gardner Johnson. Now that he's come back home to Philly, a Cooper DeJean, I feel he's actually going to do very well guarding Xavier Worthy in the slot. Mitchell on the outside, I think he's going to do very well, whether it's Hopkins or Hollywood Brown. I think he's going to hold his own on that not rookie-led, but a lot of rotation guys that are rookies, that are young guys. I don't feel the moment is going to be too big for them. In the middle, they have Bond, who has been an all-pro, who was just a special teamer a year or two ago with like the Saints. He's an all-pro. He's making plays. It doesn't make me a little bit nervous with Nakobe Dean not being there. With him going down. Hope a speedy recovery for him. But the X factor. 2 years ago, they had Fletcher Cox.
Mm-hmm.
Now they have Jalen Carter. People, if you do not know the name, get familiar with it. I'm not saying he's Aaron Donald, but he is wrecking havoc on offensive lines across the NFL.
He's a man-child. Yeah.
He is a man amongst boys, and he will be an all-pro, a perennial all-pro moving forward. I think he's going to be a disruptor this weekend in the Super Bowl. Him with Jordan Davis and the rest of the crew, I think they get it done. I have a very similar prediction. I actually see a 31-28 win for Philly. I think they win 31-28. And your MVP will be Saquon Barkley. That's my predictions for the Super Bowl. I want to see the confetti drop, and I want to see, Kevin Hart drunk out his mind on the sideline again. I want to see that again. So, fly Eagles fly. I got Philly this weekend.
Sounds like we're in agreement and very close on our predictions too, man. So now I think we're on the same page as far as Philly goes. So now, fly Eagles fly. Still on my 49ers, but I definitely got an agenda going into this one, which it deals with. I'm putting it on the Eagles and their fan base, man. Y'all need to show up and handle your business, please. I do not want to see a Chiefs repeat. Call me a hater if you want.
Hater.
I don't want to see it. I hate you. I hate your guts. I don't even know you. But you say what you will. I don't want to see it. And I'm sorry, guys. I'm over the Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce on the cameras. I'm over it. I'm tired of it. I'm ready for Kevin Hart and to do their thing.
Hey man, we're trying to get this podcast booming. We can't do the Taylor hate on the first pod, man. We can't do that. What are you doing?
We gotta keep it a bean for people. I mean, what you mean, a lot?
Nah, like the man Drake said, she the only one I move my date for. I ain't mentioning her. Hey, keep showing up, Taylor. I love seeing you on the sidelines because it don't make me never mind. I don't care. I'm there to watch the ball. Show you all you want in the box. High five.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
high five, Mama Kelsey. Do all that. I don't care. I care about ball. If it honestly, if it disrupts you, if it makes you bad, fix yourself, man. Let love be love. Whether you think it's real or not, let it be love.
I'm cool with the
be what it is. Let it be what it is.
I'm cool with the love piece of it, but my guy,
Travis Kelce, his jersey sale went through the roof.
We know.
Went through the roof. So I ain't mad at it. Get your coin. Get all the coin you can, my fellow Ohioan.
Don't even need any more coin though.
Hey,
we need coin.
Ain't no such thing as too much money in my opinion. And maybe it's like that because I ain't got all that money. But ain't no such thing as too much money. So get that coin, my boy. Get that coin.
Yeah, get the coin. Just keep the camera off of her in the press box. My God. I don't want to see them swag surfing. Fly Eagles fly, man. We gotta break this up, man. But nah, make sure y'all tune in, man. Super Bowl gonna be kicking off, man, and we'll definitely be back on one of our future episodes to talk about some of the commercials and halftime performance. Headlined by Kendrick Lamar. Definitely another subject for another day and another podcast. Zaytoven's favorite. But yeah, I just got it all. Tired of it. But nah, we are definitely going to be discussing music and specifically that subject that just can't seem to go away, even though it happened months ago. But
So now, so now you're gonna make me watch the performance because now we gotta talk about it on the pod. That's
yeah,
crazy, bro.
Well, I'm not saying you got to watch it live. I mean, I'm sure there'll be something on
No,
YouTube.
I have to watch it. I have to watch it because now we gotta talk about it on the pod.
Eventually,
But
maybe not immediately, but eventually.
now we gotta get it while the iron hot, baby.
Hey man,
Hey,
put it this way: if I got to tolerate this Swift Kelsey regime, you know what I'm saying, you going to watch that halftime. We going to discuss that at a later date.
All right. I guess.
We'll split the baby on that. But ladies and gentlemen, man, that we are getting ready to close it out. Again, in advance, I'm thanking everybody that supported us, man, that's been giving us positive words of encouragement to do this thing. Like I said, we've been kicking it around for a while. I know I've been definitely dragging my behind on it, man, but just had to kind of get the visions together and simply do it, man. So about taking that first step, and in this case, we're taking first steps, and we're gonna be running and flying here soon, man. But definitely be sure to tune into our next episode. We're gonna be talking about more subjects again, post Super Bowl, and obviously the NBA as well. Trade deadline, got a lot to discuss on the next episode concerning the NBA trade deadline. A lot of big movements happening.
A lot to unpack.
Lot to unpack. We would have loved to have gotten it in on this episode, but I feel that deserves its own dedicated show. But yeah, I'd like to thank y'all, man. First episode, many more to come. AD, look at magic. Definitely gonna have a lot more to talk about, man. But shout out to everybody again for supporting the crew. We are going to holler at y'all on the next episode of the Crisp Logic Podcast. Again, it's been your boy Frost.
It's been your boy Zay, X, Xavier, however you want to call me. It's been a pleasure being a co-host on the first episode of the Crisp Logic Podcast, and this is my first go at being on a podcast. So let's make this thing work, man. Let's get this to where it needs to be. Let's get it to the right listeners. Hopefully it resonates with you listeners out there, and that you continue to pour into us as we pour into you guys. So I'll say my thanks in advance, and let's get this going, man.
No doubt, man. We're gonna holler at you on the next episode of the Crisp Logic Podcast, and we are out. Peace.
Peace.